Love what I'm seeing right now. This is perfect. You need to be reaching for a 50mm lens if you've got a full frame camera. Okay, if you've got a crop sensor, you may have to take 2 or 3 pictures to actually see what your eyes are seeing and stitch those together. But if you're using a wide angle to capture landscape photo or something like that, and in the foreground you've got some flowers, which are close enough to you to actually be significant in the wide angle photo. But beyond that, there's a road, and there's a river, and then way in the background there's a hill with some grass, and then on the top of that hill, even further away, was this beautiful castle, which to your eye doesn't look that far away. But when you put that wide angle lens on there, that castle now just got that much smaller. So that is what I'm trying to explain to you. If you need to get a wider perspective and get a panoramic type shot without using a wide angle, making everything in the background smaller, I would recommend using a 50, 70mm, or even an 85mm, turn it sideways, and take multiple pictures and stitch them together. The reason is you don't expand that background from what your actual eye sees. And if you want to bring in that castle closer, you would use something like an 85mm telephoto lens. Okay, so don't use wide angle just to fit it all in. Remember what you're doing to the image. You're pushing away stuff. And now when you look at it on your computer, you're like, it looked so much better when I was there. It's because you saw it with your eyes, which are roughly the equivalent of 50mm. And if you put a 20mm lens on your camera, now you've changed what your eye saw and pushed everything in the background further away. And now it becomes less significant in the image. So think about when to use wide angle, when not to use it. I would use a wide angle to get some crazy, funky looking perspectives. Like I would get down low with a wide angle, with the subject standing tall, making them look really, really skinny and long and like powerful. I would do that sometimes, but I don't like to go with a wide angle lens and come up to the subject and be like this. Okay, I'm gonna get a headshot, because like I said, you're gonna stretch out their face and make them look kind of funky. So we're gonna have her, she's just been sitting here very nice and relaxed, and we'll get her to go ahead and turn your shoulder into the camera slightly. And then what I want you to do is actually put your chin over your shoulder, like and then stick your head forward. There you go. So this is just going to be kind of a nice little headshot here, and I'm actually getting a little bit more than just her head. All right, I can cut it just a little bit further. All right. Now, when you take portraits of people, also don't be afraid to crop their hair slightly. It is acceptable to crop slightly on the hair. You don't always have to get every single strand of hair in the shot. And are they showing up?
No.
Okay, I must have clicked something. Okay, it says it's on there. All right. You know what, go ahead and pause rolling for a second. Mind if I, yeah, just push it over. I normally don't touch the subject, so I will ask. And then put the put your hair over this way.
This hair or
this side? Yeah, just slightly like that. And then do the same kind of thing where you're leaning back towards the camera. Okay. And then chin more towards your, like stick your head forward a little bit. There you go. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so if I turn the blinkies on, she's getting a little bit too hot around the shirt. So what I'm going to do is just turn my aperture down to f16. Okay, and then be good to go. The background is blowing out completely white. And you can see here, it's blowing out the background white, which is what I want. The light on her eyes, getting catch lights in both eyes. Of course, it is a beauty dish, so the catch lights are round. And what I'll probably end up doing next is adding a reflector down here, bounce some of that light in, just to give it that kind of like oil of Olay look, or like glamour look, you know, something that you see in a makeup counter. Okay, so right now it's a nice light, and you can see the this side is really blown out. I think this side over here, let's see, that is channel B, I believe. Yeah, let me turn up channel B. See, this is an Alien B400, which is not as powerful as the 800 or the 1600. So I'm gonna have to crank this one up. I don't have all the same ones. I wish I did, but I just don't at this time. So another reading. Ooh, F45. I don't need that much power. F22.
Go get him. Oh, of course I forgot my name.
Alright, I think we'll go there. We'll check this light again. Okay. Alright. Let's take a test shot real quick.
Well, because the last video I was in, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I was actually doing stuff.
Alright, that light's a little too bright now.
Which was scary.
2, 1, 2.
It's just like, I just cracked myself up. I like your shoes.
Okay. Now we're getting what we wanted. See, now the background is blowing out completely around her because that light on that side was turned down. It wasn't at the power I want. Okay. Chin forward. Like try to lean forward as much as possible. There you go. All right.
Oh, it is pretty heavy.
Okay.
Did she just get this one? No, this is her.
That looks good.
Well.
And of course, these are just straight out of camera, unedited, nothing, no contrast applied or anything like that. They're raw files, so that's what you get when you shoot with
And she
raw.
doesn't even have a battery.
I don't see any blown out highlights on her face.
But I'm going to get a new body. Nothing.
Oh, you can see the highlight indicator telling you when it's over.
Maybe you get it for 2. Like are you going to buy it
No
new?
highlight.
Oh, okay. Because you can get a used one. Yeah, I know. Go to KEH.com.
Ah, shit. I'm such an idiot. I was wondering, remember earlier when I said I was metering at F9, right? I had my camera set to 3200. When I just blew this up, ISO 3200, I'm like, why is it so noisy?
Well,
So that's why, because when I was doing the demo to you guys, showing you how to click with thirds of stops, I left it on 3200 like a moron. So, all right, test shot, F9, once again. See, this is real world right here.
Normally you wouldn't be so distracted either.
Right. Yes, I'm back at ISO 200, which now it's way too dark.
So now
Okay.
you gotta go adjust all your lights again.
Yeah.
You were wondering why all of a sudden you got all this power. From
Yeah, I'm
your
like, why is it
strobes.
so bright? Alright. Okay, so that's way too bright. F20, that's not what I need. Probably gonna have to keep this. Is a Alien B1600. It's got tons and tons of power. Okay, 12.7. There we go. And I don't have 12.7, so I'll go F13. Background lights. Make those up a little bit. See if I can get some kind of meter out here. Alright, we'll try that. Those might be too bright still. Okay, this is just a test shot, so just kind of hang out. Alright.
I was trying to get into somebody else's car. Would you believe it?
Down to the little
All
room
right.
and you don't find nothing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I can see you.
Was it running? No. I don't know how many times I come out of work and found it running.
running? Huh? Oh, that's funny.
Okay. Alright.
Ooh, fancy.
There we go.
It's a case and a case.
I want white.
Box.
Alright, so
First time it's being used, it's exciting.
for this kind of thing right here, if I'm just doing a headshot, I'm not seeing her arms and all that stuff down below. So I will actually have the model hold this under her own chin And the closer you get it to the face, the brighter it's going to be. Now you're going to see a dramatic difference in the photo. It's going to just really make it glow. She's going to have a glow to her that she doesn't have right now. So we'll have her hold that just right about there and tilt it slightly. There you go. And now, because I am shooting with the 135, I'm going to not see this in the shot. Alright, so, and 3, 2, 1. And you should also notice some catch lights in her eyes from the reflector bouncing up. When you turn in Lightroom, if you turn the lights out by hitting the L button, it makes it darker. I personally like to shoot that way because then I don't see all the gray and controls on the side. So we'll do the same thing again. This time I'm going to actually bring it up just even closer. Right there. And this will be really just a headshot. Okay, so this is like a beauty shot right here. A little bit closer. Alright. And go ahead and tilt your head to that direction. Yeah, I hate telling people left and right because they'll end up doing the opposite. Turn your head to the left. No, my left. No, your left. No. Who's left?
Katrina.
You got smudgies.
You got an orange. Yeah,
There you go.
you got
Okay.
it. I'm sorry.
You're all right.
I got your
We're
toes.
tight in here.
I got your toes and my toes.
It's all right.
Alright, let's get going real quick. Right.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really tight headshot. Alright, so this one, there is no reflector in the shot. Okay, so you see a little bit of the shadows. Now, Jay, could I get you to hold this for me? I'll just have you stand with it right there. So, yeah, basically right like that. And that is going, bring it forward a little bit, and then turn it that direction. There you go. Alright, so this is going to fill in the shadow side of her hair and face slightly. And they do make actual brackets. They make brackets that you can actually use a light stand and attach these to it. I just don't personally use reflectors very often, and when I do, I have an assistant hold it, or I'll have the model hold it herself. So that works there. Alright, I'm going to switch lenses. I'm going to go more of a little bit wider angle. So I'm going with the 85, and then I will probably go to the 50.
Keep an eye on that one. I'm just saying. She's very close to it. Me too. She has a big purse.
Alright, so now we're actually getting all the way down to her knees. And if I was to get back even further, I could probably get her full length. So I'll just do like a 3/4 shot. Now when I'm looking at taking a portrait of somebody, I don't want to shoot from up here. See how she's lower than I am right now? I don't want to be shooting down on my subject unless I'm purposely shooting down on them. I want to normally be at their chest level, and the reason for that, if you take a couple of pictures of your kids, let's say, a lot of bad, like, uneducated photographers will take pictures of their kids from their level, shooting down on them, right? All day long. Problem with that is when you look at your pictures, they've got a big head and small feet, so you've created a cone. Do the kids really look like a cone in real life? No. So when you shoot a kid, not with a gun, with a camera, you should get down to their level, right? Okay, so you're going to be down at the kid's level, sitting, whatever it is. So for shooting a subject like this, I want to be at chest level. I want to try not to get the ceiling in the shot, okay? And if I was outdoors, I could actually get even a little bit lower. I'm using a telephoto lens because I don't want to see all the stuff in the sides of the shot. So if I come back right here, I'm at roughly chest level. Okay, and I take the shot. Now you'll see it come up on the screen here, getting just under her knee. That's another thing you want to always be mindful of. When you're cropping in camera and you're taking the picture, don't crop at the joints. At the ankle, the knee, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. Like, you want to have purposely cropped in between joints. Always choose between a joint, not at the joint. It just, something about it just looks unappealing. It's like, did you just amputate this person's arm, you know? So if you purposely crop it out, it's acceptable. So now I'm going to actually go as far back as I can with this 85. Now what I could do is I could physically move her back. I've got room to do that, but I'm going to try to get her whole shoes and everything in this shot. All right. So ready, 3, 2. Okay. All right. So the highlight warning's on. That's what that red is on the
I'm
left.
thinking, what?
That's just saying that's just saying the background is blown out. But you see how like the light is reflecting off the bottom of her shoe? That's pretty cool, actually. Now what I want to do next, because I kind of we haven't really worked this.
Shiny.
We haven't worked this shot yet. Ooh, that's neat.
Okay.
Nice.
I was wondering how come it looked like that on there. That's pretty cool. All right, so what I'll have you do is the same kind of pose where you're kind of leaning in. So get as comfortable as you can to be able to do that. And let's see. Yeah, I like the legs are cool. Maybe take your body and kind of lean it forward like that. There you go. All right, which just doing that, we've made her shorter, so that makes it so I don't have to go as far back to get her full body into the picture. And just, yeah, there you go. That's nice. See how she naturally turns her head into the light? By doing that, it's going to light her face more evenly. So that's a pretty good shot. All right, what I want you to do is move this front foot back that way. So take your foot back that direction. There you go.
Do you still want me to like lean?
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Just don't fall over.
Just don't fall over. And slightly turn your heel backwards. There you go. Like that. And then move this foot in slightly. And can you put it so that you're slightly on your tiptoe? There you go. Actually, I need your right foot to come in more.
Is that better?
Because I want to see your break of your ankle. If I don't see that, it looks like you have this really one long leg. There you go. That's good. All right, 3, 2, 1. Just keep posing around, and make sure you keep your fingers kind of together, but not tight. You know, don't like purposely just kind of keep them soft. All right. And I'm gonna come in just a little bit. Get the same shot. I don't want to crop her hand or her fingers out. I think we've got some.
That one blends in with the.
So what I want to do now is I want to get the same kind of look with how we just had everything posed, but I want Jay, if you could bring that reflector into the side, just like we did before. All right, and I'm going to try not to bring the bottom of the reflector back just a little bit. There you go, right there. All right, and chin down. Alright, so it looks kind of awkward right now. With your arm is a little too far forward, so we'll bring your arm back. And what I want you to do is, as you're leaning, just take and roll your shoulders slightly back.
Back?
Yeah, so it basically creates more of an arch in your back.
I'm gonna get out of your way.
Alright. Okay.
So he has
and can you bring... Yeah, we gotta fix that hair.
Hold on, I got it. Sorry.
There's like a strand, and now you got one. There you go. Okay, that looks good. And same thing, leaning forward, and now try to bring your shoulder up and forward. Like bring your shoulder forward just a little bit and up slightly.
Put your hands together and
Looks kind of awkward.
like your fingers together.
Alright, we'll take the shot. Alright, so we're trying to get basically her comfortable, and I know
Try not to
isn't-
fall forward. That's why I'm like.
Okay, so just sit naturally, however you feel natural, but slightly bend keep your posture up, and I want to see your back. So bring your left arm back. There you go. So I can actually see through that area. Now take your left foot and bring it back again. I want a break in that foot. Yeah, there you go. And go ahead and lean forward slightly. A little bit more. Alright. so I'm not digging it. This is one of those things where we got to keep working it and figure out what we don't like about it. So let's analyze this photo real quick. The right arm kind of looks out of place. And if you look at the photo, it's just something, it's just like, it doesn't look natural. Even the way you're just kind of sitting right now looks more natural to me. So maybe we're over posing. So let's just kind of just be natural, feel whatever feels good to you as a, you know, you've done this before. So whatever you feel feels natural, we'll go ahead and roll with that. All right. And just kind of like turn your head a little bit towards that way. There you go. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go ahead and actually rip my camera out of the computer. Let go. All right. I'm going to turn the background lights off. We're going to start out with the simpler, just one light. And that's fine. Getting the white seamless look after a while, but you know, even that gets kind of old after a while, so I like to change things up a little bit. Alright, so this background should now go to like a medium dark gray. Did that fire? Yes, it's firing. Alright, it's going to get even darker because I am, well no, it might get lighter, sorry. It's going to get lighter. Alright, just making sure that thing's firing because I didn't hear it. It's at such a low power setting that I couldn't hear him. So can you just tell me if that thing fires? If the flash fires? Yep. Okay, good. What did it? Wow. Okay, that's way too hot.
Some Dexter.
That's touchy spots.
Yeah, I got a nice little ring, a ring of rings going right here. Powerful box you got there, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, it's telling me F5. So we'll stick with F5. Because it's at the lowest power setting, I am able to knock out shots a little bit better. Okay, this is proof, case in point, of always checking your settings on your gear before you start shooting. Okay, I looked at my light meter and it was saying ISO 800, which is why when I was metering, I was not getting my proper settings for the camera. Normally, ISO 200, this camera should be at ISO 200. I must have been shooting the other day somewhere where I needed ISO 800. It was in a event concert type hall, and I had strobes set up, but I wanted to bring in some of the ambient light, which to do that I had to increase my ISO to have a fast enough shutter speed to handhold and not have a blurry background. So now we can see that the exposure is actually spot on. That's where I want to be with my exposure. So always check your gear. Alright, so we're going to get the full length again. Yeah, there you go. And I kind of want your, whoops, I want your right shoulder back. Yeah, just turn your body slightly. There you go. That's good. All right, let me turn off those highlight warnings. I need to see about that. It's all the purple is? Yeah. It's basically telling me that there's no detail left in the shadows in some parts of her hair. But do I care about the detail? Like, no. I care about her exposure of her. Okay. So I bumped it to 4.5 just to brighten her skin up just a little bit, and I actually kind of think it looks a little bit better. So I like using props from Japan, I guess because I lived there for so long. So we'll go ahead and ask her to hold this. And what I will probably do now is bring a light in behind. I'll bring a light in behind her to really hit that umbrella and make it kind of stand out more than it was, or more than it would be. Alright. Now I could take a meter reading back here and see what it's metering at. Which is metering at hardly anything. Channel. Ooh, that's bright. Alright, so that was F11. Alright, so I'm metering at F7 on this background, which it's going to eat up some of the light as it passes through. What my goal is to actually see this illuminated. You know what I mean? So it's translucent. You can't see that it's translucent now, but I want this color to really pop. So now I'll grab my camera. And we'll take a quick shot just to see if we're in the ballpark of where we want to be. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Now come in a little bit closer. Nice. Okay, so I'm cutting off her fingers. So I got to be careful of that. Not a problem. I could crop that in post, but I want to keep all the megapixels that I have in my camera because I don't want to waste them. Alright, so since she's holding an umbrella, I don't really care about seeing the ceiling. It's not really going to be in the shot. So it's nice. And take the umbrella and push it back a little bit. There you go, because I don't like it touching on your actual head. Yes. What happened? Oh, it's bleeding in from that light up there. Okay, so rather than just dealing with it, I'm gonna fix it. Excuse me, Jay. All right, grid spot. Solve the problem right here. It will keep the light from going towards my camera lens. Okay, even with the lens hood on my camera, it still was picking up some light. So throw this grid in here. Now, one of the problems with the grid spot is they're kind of hard to aim. So go ahead and put that umbrella back kind of how you were at. Since we are so close to the umbrella, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But when you've got, like, let's say the speed light or the strobe is 20 feet away from your subject, it may not even be hitting your subject because of the distance that it's traveling and the trajectory is off. Alright, let me get in a little bit closer again. I like those shoes. I gotta get those in the shot. Alright, and 3, 2. Alright, so let's see if that got rid of that haze. Okay, I like it. I just don't like the angle I was shooting from, so I'm gonna fix that. Actually, you know what? Just how you just were, let's get you in that pose where you were kind of leaning over and looking that way. Let me get you to stand up real quick because I'm gonna move the stool over. So that way you're still in the same spot. So like, look like you're trying to look at the lens over there. The monitor. Alright, let me get that again. Okay, that one was out of focus, that's why I retook the second shot. Okay, so let me take it again. I like the same kind of look, but what I'm going to try to do is go a little bit wider, and I'm going to try to have your head on that side of the frame, not on this side. So go ahead and do the same pose you just had, and like kind of look over at the side. You got to always be careful and mindful of what's in the background. Okay, we do have the beauty of Photoshop. So removing a light stand from a solid white area of the photo, not a problem. We are working on a time constraint here. We're trying to just knock stuff out. If I had all the time in the world and we were working with an actual client, yes, I would. Let's get this right in camera every single time. This is for demonstration purposes. Okay, so I got a little tiny clipping of the light stand in the photo. Not a big deal. I'm going to try one more vertically. Same kind of pose. There you go. And eyes back to me. And just open your mouth slightly. There you go. Alright, so I'm liking the light. I like the way it looks. What's wrong? Something wrong with the hair?
A little bit.
Okay.
Hold on, it's showing you now.
On the right side of the head.
Do a couple more, same kind of thing. So we nail this one. And then back at me. And then just tilt your chin, there you go, slightly. And go ahead and lift the umbrella up, there you go. Alright, so what I'm trying to do now is frame the umbrella more around her head on these last couple shots here. Okay, that one, I gotta crop a little bit down. So I cranked up the light on the umbrella. It's probably a little too hot now. I'll turn that back down. And what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be another shot. Let me take this umbrella away. I think we got some good ones out of that batch. So I like to change things up. I don't like to sit and just work on one thing over and over and over and over. If it's not working out, move on to something else, you know. That's kind of my rule of thumb. So I want to try this gigantic umbrella.
The red shoes.
Well, we can make it so we can see the shoes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the chair. I'm going to have you on the ground sitting. That way we can get your shoes, the umbrella, and everything in the shot. Of course, I'm going to have to lower my lights. We may need it at some point.
Okay.
And this is a beauty dish. It kind of produces hardish kind of light. It's not really soft like a big softbox. So I am just working the beauty dish right now. I would try other light modifiers a little bit later.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Do the trick there.
So my train of thought here, before I even do anything, what am I doing? I want to have the main lights already set up for her. Okay, that's already pretty much taken care of. I can move that in any direction all around the subject. But I want to have her hair illuminated slightly. She is going to have that umbrella, so that may be a little bit of a challenge. So I'll take one without the umbrella first. Then for this shot, I'm going to actually have the grid spot aiming at her head. Okay, so I'm making sure that it's actually hitting on top of her head. And then I'll take a quick meter reading of her hair, see where we're at. Okay, it's saying F9, and the main light is at F3.6. Okay, so I got to turn this one way down. Quick meter reading. F5, F3.6, she has dark hair. I could probably get away with F5 on her hair because it's going to soak up a lot of that light, but it will brighten it up slightly. So we'll take a test shot and see where we're at, if we like the light or not. Let me close this back down. Alright, we'll use that in a minute. Okay. Still working the 85. She's on the ground. We'll move my camera back. And that's going to be in the shot. You have to grab the strap. This one. Yeah, go. Thanks. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a challenge because I'm going to see some of these light stands and stuff out here. So let me move them. If I move this over, I can have her move over. So we'll have you slide back just slightly. There you go. And now since she moved and I moved, I'm going to take another quick meter reading. 5.6, main light. 3.6. Okay, that's probably going to work. Alright. So, 3.6. Let's see if we can get 3.6. This is the f2 lens. Should not be a problem. Okay, 3.5. Back up just a little bit. Oops. light stand in the shot over there, but I'm not too worried about it. It's not intersecting with any part of her body. Okay, so I actually like the lighting. What I might do next is have you lay down, like looking towards me.
Oh, my back?
No. Like this. And then take your feet and kind of cross them. But what I don't want to have is I don't want to have me shooting directly with her feet behind her head. Okay, so I don't like her feet. All, you know, right now this is fine, but I see a lot of other photographers kind of making a mistake of having the feet growing out of their head like rabbit ears. Okay, so I automatically look for that whenever I do this type of shot. Okay, it's not focusing. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so she moved, right? So the light is not really hitting on her. So I'm gonna grab my meter. And this is gonna be like kind of side lighting a little bit, which is fine. Okay, so now we're at f4. The hair light is probably no longer hitting her hair because she totally moved. It was like hitting her back.
Fix your hair again, okay?
Okay, and when I'm aiming these grid spots, if I look down through the back of my light, I can pretty much get a pretty good idea of where that light is going to fall. Alright. I didn't meter the hair light, but I don't think it's going to change too much. So I'm getting really low, pretty much on the same level as she is. And we'll look at the light and we'll see if we like it or not. Okay, I think it looks good. Let's bring that reflector back in on the side. Look at that.
Watch yourself.
Yeah.
Alright, so that'll actually be on the ground, touching the ground, and slightly forward. There we go. I just want to make sure that light hits this, and then flip it like that, Jay, just slightly. Like, turn it.
Okay.
Other way. There you go. Alright, so we'll try this. Okay, 3, 2. Get a little closer. And separate your feet, like cross them a little bit more. I like the one going straight up is good, but the one on the bottom is kind of angled now too much to the left. So like this, try to have your feet like